From ABC, this is World News Sunday. Here's Carol Simpson.
Good evening. The war of words over a U.S.-led invasion of Haiti heated up today as the Clinton administration stepped up its bid for public and political support. And as the wisdom of military action was being debated, at least 4 U.S. Navy ships, including the destroyer O'Brien, and at least 4 helicopters arrived in the waters off Port-au-Prince. They are less than 2 miles from shore, closer than any U.S. ship has ventured so far. More from ABC's Barry Dunsmore.
Some senior Clinton administration officials went to Fort McNair in Washington today to get a sneak preview of the plans for the invasion of Haiti. Also today, the administration began to make its case for intervention to the American public.
When a Democratic elected president is overthrown by a military dictatorship, it gives a very bad signal about what is tolerable in the Western Hemisphere. Second, the human rights record of what is going on in Haiti is sick. They have not only murdered ordinary people, but a priest, and they're now shooting orphans for sport.
2 high-profile political opponents, Dan Quayle and Ross Perot, have charged this past week that the real reason for the invasion is to give President Clinton a boost before the midterm elections.
I'm known as a person who is cautious about what he says. Some say overcautious. Let me tell you, those charges are just pure baloney.
As for when to expect the invasion, officials say very soon, because all other avenues are exhausted.
We have tried diplomatic means, embargoes, cajolery, negotiation, and now we are down to really a very short period of time, and they better get the message.
Many in Congress don't buy the rationale for invading, but do get the message.
I don't think the president can make his case, but having said that, my view is that they've already decided to do it.
To underscore that point, it was also confirmed this weekend that elements of the U.S. Army's 10th Mountain Division from Fort Drum, New York, are being deployed as part of the Haiti invasion force. The division last saw action in Somalia. Had the Cuban refugee crisis continued to escalate, it's hard to imagine how the administration would have been able to rationalize invading Haiti. But now that Cuba seems once again on the back burner, D-Day for Haiti now appears to be only a matter of weeks or even days away. Barry Dunsmore, ABC News, the State Department.
Cuba may be moving to the back burner because of the new agreement between Havana and Washington that will limit the number of Cubans leaving the country. The deal goes into effect Tuesday, but already the Cuban police are out in force to stop an 11th-hour surge of would-be immigrants. ABC's Mark Potter is in Havana.
Before dawn today, trucks loaded with Cuban police were on the move as they set up traffic stops and guarded the beaches. Last night, the Cuban government announced that as of 6 o'clock this morning, it was illegal to transport rafts or materials used to make rafts to the coastal areas. The warning, intended to stop a last-minute flood of immigrants, was broadcast on national television.
Vehicles used to transport rafts, as well as the rafts themselves, will be confiscated, and the drivers of those vehicles will be arrested and prosecuted.
Cuban officials also say that rafters still on the beaches have until noon Tuesday to either set sail or to go back home. After that, they say the beaches will be sealed off, and immigrants putting out to sea will be stopped.
This morning at Brisas del Mar, Cuba, near Havana, scores of rafters panicked and left as fast as they could. Border guards had told them, mistakenly it appears, that they had to leave by noon today. Many of these homemade vessels were still on the beach because of mechanical problems, but somehow the rafters got most of them going, one way or another.
With a motor, without a motor. We'll row, we'll sail, whatever it takes.
Later, after many families here had already made their goodbyes, the confusion was straightened out, and the remaining rafters were told they could stay until Tuesday. Already, the number of immigrants on the beaches has dropped dramatically. Mark Potter, ABC News, Havana.
Coming up, new clues to the possible cause of the U.S. air tragedy. And later in this broadcast, Pope John Paul preaches the message of peace to the warring factions in the former Yugoslavia. And actress Jessica Tandy is dead at the age of 85.
World News Sunday, brought to you by Oldsmobile. and your local Oldsmobile dealers.
Do you know that the Oldsmobile 88 is the only full-size car to be named a Consumer's Digest Best Buy 4 years in a row? You see, the 88 Special Edition offers dual airbags, anti-lock brakes, power windows and locks, and more for a very attractive price. Maybe that's why it keeps winning. Well, this car has so much going for it, it's hard to be sure. It's your money.
The day I said goodbye to baseball,
I promised myself minor arthritis pain wouldn't hold me back. And hey, I gotta use this shoulder.
so I use Ultra Strength Bengay with 3 pain relievers. They only have one. Ultra Strength Bengay, nothing stronger.
Dear Aquafresh, my teeth were so sensitive.
Pain was awful.
Aquafresh Sensitive targets the problem, soothing the nerve to help stop the pain.
No more pain.
And great fresh taste.
Aquafresh Sensitive soothes the nerve, helps stop the pain.
Investigators probing the crash of U.S. Air Flight 427 continued their search outside Pittsburgh today. The investigation now is focusing on the plane's right engine to determine whether it mysteriously reversed its thrust and started the plane on its fateful fall. Here's ABC's Jim Hickey.
Federal investigators are still digging out pieces of the wreckage buried by the force of the impact. They are also looking closely at whether one of Flight 427's thrust reversers improperly engaged while the plane was in the air as a possible cause for the crash.
If a thrust reverser deploys in the air, it's a very serious problem.
Thrust reversers are mechanical devices that help airplanes slow down after landing. On models like the Boeing 737 that crashed, thrust reversers are panels inside the engines that close to divert high-speed air forward, pushing against the airplane's momentum. That's the loud engine noise you hear when planes land. The paddles are operated by hydraulic cylinders called actuators. Investigators say they found one of 6 actuators for the right engine. It was in a wrongly deployed position. They caution, however, that may be a result and not the cause of the accident. If actuators do deploy while in flight, it would have the effect of reversing an engine in midair. However, some aviation experts doubt that was the cause of the crash.
It's the fact that if a thrust reverser on the right side had come out, this airplane would have rolled to the right, and in fact, it rolled to the left.
On ABC's This Week with David Brinkley, National Transportation Safety Board member Carl Vogt warned it is much too early for any speculation.
It's an axiom in this business that if you say on day 2 you know what happened, that you're almost unquestionably going to be proven wrong. So we don't do that.
At the crash site, recovery teams say nearly all the remains of the 132 victims that can be found have been collected, but they expect to find more under buried pieces of wreckage. The remains are being moved to a temporary morgue at the Pittsburgh airport. And in a Pittsburgh suburb, a church service today was dedicated to those victims, especially to 5 members of the congregation, an entire family, including 3 children who perished. Jim Hickey, ABC News, Beaver County, Pennsylvania.
Family members have confirmed today that the body of a young girl found in rural north-central Wisconsin is that of Cora Jones. The 12-year-old disappeared on Labor Day. With more, here's ABC's Ron Claiborne.
The body of the 12-year-old girl was discovered by a group of hunters in a ditch next to a country road about 75 miles from where she was last seen alive.
I think we knew all along that it would probably turn out this way.
Cora disappeared last Monday after leaving her grandmother's house on her bicycle. The bike was found several hours later, but there was no sign of the girl. The day after she vanished, her mother made an anguished plea for her daughter's return.
Please, please, whoever has Cora, please don't hurt her. Please. She's just the sweetest, sweetest girl.
For days, friends, relatives, even strangers joined police and FBI agents searching fields and back roads throughout the rural countryside near her home. They handed out thousands of leaflets bearing Cora's photo and description and offering a $5,000 reward. But authorities failed to turn up a shred of evidence. As the days passed, the family and friends of Cora Jones continued to search, never losing hope that she would be found alive. That hope ran out today. Ron Claiborne, ABC News.
When we return, some crooks make a comic error and the cops crack the Tiffany's jewelry caper.
70 years ago, Ace became the Prince. To celebrate, we're having a huge sale. Because while some things have changed over the years, one thing hasn't: our great values. The Ace 70th anniversary sale. It's still the place.
When I bite into a York peppermint patty, I get the sensation of zigging and zagging my Porsche through the Alps in winter, downshifting, yes, upshifting.
York peppermint patty. Get the sensation.
I really didn't want my husband to color his gray hair.
But then I discovered this, the hair coloring called Just for Men.
And now he looks better than ever.
Simply apply Just for Men and in 5 minutes rinse. Just for Men blends away the gray for a totally natural look. No wonder 8 out of 10 women prefer the Just for Men look to the gray look.
It's like you took off 10 years.
And in just 5 minutes.
Just for Men. She'll love the way you look.
What if somebody invented a way to change some of our toxic chemical waste into something useful? Like energy. Now there's less chemical waste and more energy. It's not the whole answer, but it's a start. The 180 members and partners of the Chemical Manufacturers Association, working for change.
Some nights, my husband Ben is out there for hours, in spite of his minor arthritis pain. When he has a flare-up, he takes Advil. For minor arthritis pain, doctors recommend Advil most. And nothing's been proven to last longer. He says Advil lets him get back to doing what he loves. And without the pain, he sleeps better. Says he wakes up feeling ready for another day. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Police in New York say they've got their hands on the final suspects and most of the jewelry from last weekend's big heist at Tiffany's. Detectives say the robbery was exceptionally well planned and executed, but the fencing of the stolen goods was badly bungled, and that helped law officers crack the case. More from ABC's Cynthia McFadden.
More than half of the $2 million worth of jewelry, stolen less than a week ago from the venerable Fifth Avenue store, was recovered by New York City police late last night. And the 4 men who police say committed the heist are in custody.
Right from the beginning, we couldn't say it up front, but we believed it was an inside job.
As inside as this man, Scott Jackson, a security supervisor at the store for 5 years, who the police say planned the heist. And Mark Bascom, a Tiffany's guard who said last week he was forced to let 2 men into the store, but who police now believe was actually their accomplice. Police announced the arrest of one of the 2 alleged gunmen late Saturday afternoon, and the other alleged gunman surrendered at 9 last night, bringing with him 250 pieces of the stolen treasure, say police. The burglary was the biggest theft in the company's 157-year history. Over 450 pieces of jewelry, each engraved with the Tiffany name, were stolen. The crime required professional inside knowledge by the thieves. Though they broke into 27 display cases, they avoided the one case with a special alarm. The break in the case came when the police received a tip that someone was trying to sell Tiffany jewelry in Times Square very cheap. The police also have 2 men in custody who they say were ineptly trying to fence the jewelry. Cynthia McFadden, ABC News, New York.
Veteran actress Jessica Tandy died today of ovarian cancer at her home in Connecticut. Her career spanned 6 decades. She was successful on Broadway, on television, and in the movies, and she's perhaps best known for her Oscar-winning portrayal of a Southern matriarch in Driving Miss Daisy. ABC's Judy Muller looks at Jessica Tandy's life and career.
And the Oscar goes to Jessica Tandy.
Jessica Tandy could have rested on her laurels long ago. Instead, her performances just kept on coming.
83 years worth of living, and all that's left of me is what's in this box. Bunch of old cards and pictures.
But what Tandy left behind after 85 years of living is a legacy of elegant and poignant performances, beginning with her Broadway portrayal of Blanche Dubois in Streetcar Named Desire. She often appeared with her husband, Hume Cronin, in stage plays such as Gin Game and Foxfire, and in movies such as Cocoon.
I don't want to live forever if you're not going to be with me.
The marriage was, in fact, one of the longest-running acts in show business.
Every time Jesse has a triumph, I feel it's partly mine, which is, the height of arrogance.
And there were triumphs galore, Tonys, Emmys, and at the age of 80, her first Oscar.
Thank you, the Academy, and all of you. I am on cloud 9.
The Oscar came for Driving Miss Daisy, in which Tandy played an elderly white Southerner who develops a deep bond with her black driver.
Honk,
Yes.
you're my best friend.
Oh, go on now, Miss
No,
Daisy. You
really. You are.
And the honors keep on coming. Tandy is a Best Actress nominee at tonight's Emmy Awards for her portrayal of a woman who returns after death in the form of a white dog to watch over her grieving husband, a husband who could not imagine life without her.
Well, we made it this far. Think you'll stay? I'd like to keep you. And your biscuits.
I'll be here. Always.
Judy Muller, ABC News, Los Angeles.
With wrinkled brows, the old have seen deep sorrow, great joy. What does it mean? The touch, the feel, the fabric of our lives. The touch, the feel of cotton, the fabric of our lives.
If you suffer from allergies, the makers of Dimetapp have some important news. The antihistamine in Dimetapp Extend tabs relieves allergy symptoms better than the leading prescription antihistamine. Think about it. For relief of allergy symptoms, the antihistamine in Dimetapp relieves better than the leading prescription antihistamine. For adult-strength allergy relief, remember, Dimetapp Extend tabs relieve better than the leading prescription.
Isn't it just like Delta?
Let's make it really cool.
To design a faucet that's at both the height of style
Awesome!
and practicality. Delta, the way water is brought to life.
Every day, thousands of new customers are finding QVC a great way to shop. All you need is a TV and a phone.
Thank you for calling QVC. This is Kingsby.
QVC relies on AT&T 800 service to bring in as much as $70,000 per minute. Each dollar begins with a customer calling.
AT&T makes sure huge volumes of calls get through 24 hours a day. If agents are busy in Virginia, calls are routed to Texas or Pennsylvania. QVC always gives customers more than they expect. That's why AT&T works for me.
Pope John Paul is headed home after a two-day visit to Zagreb, Croatia, where he urged Christians and Muslims to work together for peace in the former Yugoslavia. At an outdoor mass, the pontiff told a crowd of 800,000 Croats to reject what he calls nationalistic intolerance. ABC's Mike Lee reports.
He seemed almost too weak to walk. 16 years of globetrotting, his failing health, his 74 years, and a badly broken leg several months ago have taken their toll. But John Paul II summoned the strength to hold Mass for 500,000 followers.
It's something wonderful that Papa came to our country because he's a great man, and maybe Papa will bring a peace.
At least he tried. It is wrong to make war in the name of religion, he told the mainly Catholic crowd. His plan to visit Muslim Sarajevo and Christian Orthodox Belgrade was blocked by the Serbs.
I think one of the bitter paradoxes of this is that this indeed might be an indication to them of just how powerful they are, because to have managed to sabotage the Pope's visit to Sarajevo is no mean achievement.
Even though the Pope has declared himself neutral in the Bosnian conflict, the images which will linger and be exploited by political leaders are those of a Pope who visited only one religious faction. And never far from his side today, Croatian President Franjo Tudjman, criticized by the West for aggression, but claiming the Pope's visit as an endorsement of his government. The Pope could not even avoid being used at his own Mass. He suddenly found himself waving during the Croatian national anthem. Mike Lee, ABC News, Zagreb.
Back in this country, voters go to the polls in 9 states and the District of Columbia Tuesday in the last big primary day before the November elections. Across the South, Republicans are positioning themselves for some big victories by taking advantage of a law designed to help black candidates. ABC's Bob Zelnick explains.
It took a mighty civil rights effort to secure passage of the original law ensuring blacks the right to vote across the South. The amended act reflected a marriage of convenience between Republicans and blacks, involving the establishment after the 1990 census of several predominantly black voting districts. Why did the Republicans do this?
This removed black strength in adjoining congressional seats, and it made it easier for Republicans in certain parts of the South to elect candidates.
In 1992, Georgia's redrawn 11th district sent its first black representative to Washington. But in 3 neighboring Democratic districts, all of which lost black voters to the 11th, the Republicans won 1 seat 2 years ago and could win the other 2 this year. Democrat Don Johnson is fighting to hold one of those seats, while his GOP opponent is benefiting from the new district lines.
It gives the Republicans in Charlie Norwood a chance to take this seat back, because now by far the majority of the district are very conservative whites.
The same is true all across the South. In 1990, before redistricting, the South sent 72 white Democrats, 5 black Democrats, and 39 Republicans to Congress. 2 years later, the number of white Democrats fell to 60. Black Democrats more than tripled, but the Republicans picked up 9 seats. This year, an additional 17 Democratic seats are at risk, including many which have lost black voters to the new minority districts.
And it may make it possible in the fullness of time for the Republicans to gain control of the House of Representatives.
If that happens, black Democrats would lose a key power base, including several committee chairmanships, and their marriage with the GOP would look considerably less convenient. Bob Zelnick, ABC News, Atlanta.
When we come back, Dick Schaap with today's sports news.
You make me feel so young. You make me feel there are songs to be sung.
Discover fat-free Promise Ultra. 0 fat with just 5 delicious calories a serving.
And every time I see you grin,
It's the first fat-free margarine, definitely one of a kind.
you make me feel so young.
Regular or fat-free Promise Ultra. Get heart smart.
When we went to Ohio on August 4th, we didn't let the rain stop us from surprising our new millionaire.
Let's go. Is Joyce here? We're the prize patrol from Publishers Clearing.
Oh my, I don't believe it.
I just won $1 million.
I watched it on TV and those people always look like they're really surprised. I just don't know what to say. I think I'm going to faint.
She promised to share it with her friends and relatives.
We're the prize patrol from Publishers Clearinghouse, and we could surprise you next.
This week, an exclusive interview with Yasser Arafat and Yitzhak Rabin.
Plus, Barbara Bush speaks her mind on pro-choice, and John F. Kennedy Jr. on Good Morning America this week on ABC.
It's time now for sports. Dick Schaap is standing by in New York. Hi, Dick.
Thanks, Carol. Image was everything today. A young star brightening his in tennis, a quartet of veteran stars reinforcing theirs in football. Andre Agassi became the first unseeded player in 28 years to win the U.S. Open, dazzling Germany's Michael Stich with a variety of strokes, most of them deliberate. In the NFL, Joe Montana for the first time faced the team he took to 4 Super Bowl championships, the San Francisco 49ers. And this time he took them down, passing for a pair of touchdowns, while his Kansas City teammate and fellow future Hall of Famer Marcus Allen ran for 69 yards and 1 touchdown. The famous quarterbacking class of 1983 still hasn't won a Super Bowl, but two of its more prominent members had big games today. Jim Kelly passing for 4 touchdowns for Buffalo, which had lost its opening game, and Dan Marino passing for a pair of touchdowns in Miami's second straight victory. Marino, Kelly, Montana, and Agassi, all winners. Madison Avenue never had a better day. Carol?
Thanks, Dick. And finally tonight, September is a big month for bird lovers in Texas. It's an even bigger deal for the birds, hummingbirds, that is. The 6th annual Hummingbird Festival is underway in Rockport, and people are coming from all over the country to get a taste of hummingbird heaven. Here's ABC's Charles Murphy.
Rockport, Texas really hums. 3,000 to 4,000 hummingbirds come down here daily. They sip nectar from flowers and sugar water from feeders put out by bird lovers.
They need the sugar. They need to gain a little weight. In fact, they feed every 15 minutes. Then they wait for a cold wave and ride the tailwinds all the way to Mexico.
6 years ago, Rockport started a hummingbird festival. Why this little Texas town?
Rockport has been a hot spot for birding for a long, long time.
9 species of hummers can be seen here. Most are ruby throats and black chins, but if you get lucky, you can see a rufous, which summers as far north as Alaska. The birders come from all over the country.
This is better than watching the whales in the water.
This is hummingbird heaven in the fall. Anything and everything to do with hummingbirds can be found in the Hummingbird Bazaar. Visitors spend close to $1 million here. Residents go all out to welcome the birds and the birders. They let perfect strangers come into their backyards.
We have neighborhood watches at home to watch for bad things. Not for birds, or not to invite people in.
Why are people so fascinated with hummingbirds? Jesse Grantham of the Audubon Society says they've got charisma. They're different. They beat their wings 80 times a second. They can be found only in the Americas, and they're pretty. But
hummingbirds are absolutely, completely unsocial in every way. They do not like to travel together. They don't like to be near one another. They're very defensive of territories.
But people enjoy having them come to their backyards because they put on a colorful show.
Their antics. They fly upside down, sideways, backwards, in every direction.
They only live 2 or 3 years, but they go north for summer and south for winter, and they stop to taste the flowers along the way. Charles Murphy, ABC News, Rockport, Texas.
And that's World News Sunday. Tomorrow, watch ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. I'm Carol Simpson. Have a good week and good night.
From Washington, this has been World News Sunday.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
Tonight, spend an evening with the best of the best. It's television's biggest night, the event you've been waiting for. Join Patricia Richardson and Ellen DeGeneres live at the Emmys tonight on ABC.